Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the launch of the Capstone Project by Celonis in Summer Analytics 2026. Firstly, we're thankful to all of you for completing our course and sticking with us throughout this journey of 5 weeks. And now it's finally time to announce the Capstone Project that you've all been waiting for. All the details about the project will soon be shared with you, along with the problem statement. Uh, there are two parts to this project. Part one will be explained by Ms. Poornima Dhall from Celonis, and we'll take over for for part two. Firstly, I would like to thank Ms. Poornima for being here with us, and also thanks to the Celonis team for this problem statement. Um, Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sanchit, and everyone from the Consulting and Analytics Club of IIT Guwahati. I'm really happy to be here today to introduce the Capstone project that we have planned for you. Before that, I would like to give you a quick introduction about Celonis and a little bit about our platform so that you know what you're working with. Okay, so I'll give you a quick introduction to Celonis. What is Celonis Process Intelligence? I will also quickly do a demo on how you can upload the data set into our platform and how to create a view. This is what you'll have to do as part of your project. And we will do a quick orientation about the Capstone project itself. So Celonis, I'm sure many of you wouldn't have heard about this company because we are still quite new in India. Our mission statement is very simple. It is to make processes work for people, for companies, and the planet. From pioneering a technology that is called as process intelligence to becoming the platform to enable industrializing enterprise AI, Celonis has come a long way from the time it began in 2011 until today. So Celonis was actually founded by three students while they were still studying at Technical University of Munich. And the technology that was used for this platform at that time was something very new called as process mining. So what process mining does is that it extracts data from any IT system that is available within an enterprise and uses it to create a living digital twin of the organization. So using this digital twin, you will be able to get a end-to-end view of how your process is actually flowing across all the different systems. You will be able to analyze it to see where the deviations are happening, where the inefficiencies are, is any unexpected activity happening, are any activities being skipped. So you'll be able to have a look at all of this, very, very quickly without having to go through tons of process documentation, without having to interview people. All of this would be readily available as soon as you have extracted the data and set up the process intelligence graph. So we work with almost 1,400 customers globally, and we also work with a large ecosystem of partners, almost 250 partners across the globe to take our product, our solutions to our customers. So all the top four consulting companies are our partners: EY, KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, Boston Consulting Group, McKinsey. They all use our product for their consultancy projects. All the Indian GSIs like Infosys, Capgemini, I mean, not Capgemini, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, Wipro, they all use our product. Again, companies like Capgemini, Accenture, there are process mining COEs within each of these organizations. And all of you also know that India is where almost 2,000 companies have their global capability centers or GCCs. I think more than 200 of them or uh, much more are already using our product. So, process intelligence is basically built on the simple belief that the process is the fabric of every organization. So if you think about it, what Celonis really gives you is company visibility about what is actually going on within their organizations. And this problem isn't specific to just one industry, right? You can see the names of our clients across all different industries. That is because everywhere they have the same kind of challenge. That is, how does my process actually look like internally? So from the outside, they all look very different, different products, different markets. But internally, the challenge is always the same. They don't have end-to-end visibility of their process and hence unable to take decisions at the right time. So if process is really the fabric, how many companies actually have visibility of their own processes? Only 16% of the leaders say they have complete visibility. And without this, to take any executive decisions will take a very long time. And why is that a challenge? Because there is a deep disconnect in the heart of most organizations. There are more than 100 IT systems in every large enterprise, and they're all disconnected. They don't talk to each other. Every department has its own objectives, and teams also operate in silos. And this is where Celonis comes in. It connects the organization like never before, and it also is a foundation to industrialize enterprise AI. So Celonis, by extracting the data across all the IT systems within that enterprise, not only IT systems, like it can even exist in PDF files, emails, your desktop activities that you're performing, all of this is captured. And not only the data, the business context is also captured within the process intelligence graph. Like what are the KPIs relevant to that enterprise? What are the rules? What are the benchmarking that they are working with? All of this is present within our platform. So this is the basis of process intelligence. But when is my data actually ready for process mining? So you need three bare minimum requirement to be process mining ready. First is a unique identifier that uniquely follows the case or the process from start to end of the process. So across systems, this identifier can be in different format, but it should be possible to link their relations. The second is the activity name. Activity name represents the activity that is executed at a particular time, and one process can contain dozens of different activities that characterizes it. For instance, if it is an order management process, you're placing an order in Amazon, then you will have different activities like account created, items placed in cart, order placed, payment details provided, and finally order delivered and payment completed. So these could be the different activities that are being performed for the order management process. And then finally, you need a timestamp which represents the date and time at which the activity has been completed. So these three are the bare minimum to be able to recreate your process intelligence graph or the digital twin. And you will also see this file in the data set that is provided to you. So once you have this event log and maybe many other master data or many other tables that you need to connect to this event log, you create something called as a data model. I'll show you a quick demo of how to do this later. You have to create a data model by combining the event log with the master data information that is available or that is needed to recreate your process. Once the data model is done, you create your process model, and how you see in the middle is how it's depicted in Celonis. Based on the timestamp, each of the activities is put in sequence, and any additional activities that is taking place within different variants of the process, because um, process will not be, every order will not be following the same sequence, right? So all the different activities are placed as additional steps in the side here like this. And what do you do when you have the process model? So you analyze the process, basically use the process intelligence graph to discover why certain orders are late, where are the bottlenecks, which resources are overloaded. We also have something called as a conformance checker, or the tool within Celonis is called Process Adherence Manager, where you can also define what your ideal process should be, and the process adherence manager compares it with the as is process, like how it is actually flowing, and it shows you the deviations, the root cause analysis, and all of this information. Once you have done both of this or either one of this, basically you decide where to change the activities, if you need to redesign the process, if you can build some AI assistants to make it faster, if you can automate certain activities. So these are all the steps that you can take to make your process efficient and hence bring in value to your organization. So since the time Celonis started in 2011, we have helped organizations, I mean, all the organizations, across all the organizations that we have worked with, save up to $10 billion of value, more than 10 billion. So this is a brief view of architecture. So at the center is the system agnostic digital twin of your business operations, including process data as well as business context that is enriched with AI, and that is called the process intelligence graph. We have actually now calling it the context model, which we recently acquired a company called Ikigai Labs that also helps with decision intelligence, that is still being integrated into our platform. And the heart is now being called as the context model, which is a combination of process intelligence and the decision intelligence. And at the bottommost, you can see the data sources. It can be structured data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data. And all of this is extracted to form the data core, which is the foundation for the digital twin. And on top of the digital twin, we have the capabilities to build experience where you can analyze your data, you can redesign your process, and you can also operate your process. And on top of it all is your composable AI-driven solutions for use cases across industries and departments that are built by Celonis, its partners, and its customers. And it can be a combination of AI agents, people, and automations. So this was just a brief view of our platform. I also told you that our platform can be used to industrialize enterprise AI. Now, what do I mean by that? All of you know that AI is a current buzzword, and we see every company investing millions of dollars in AI, right? But the reality of today's enterprise AI deployment is that it is takes it's very slow time to realize value, and also is limited return on investment. Only 1 in 4 AI initiatives actually delivers expected ROI because of data fragmentation. I told you there are multiple systems which are not connected, and also siloed systems as top obstacles by tech leaders. So missing business context and siloed data is one of the reason. They also don't have the business context, even if they're able to get the data. The second is strategic misalignment and value gap. Nearly 1/3 of generative AI projects are abandoned after proof of concept due to escalating cost. All of us know that it's very expensive to invest in AI, and unclear value, because they'll waste a lot of AI tokens just figuring out how what is the right way to use it. Again, there is no context or no clear definition of where it will be really successful. The third is integration barriers and disconnected workflows. 79% of companies have already begun adopting AI agents, yet they're using them in isolation, independently, like within certain departments or on existing application, but it is not implemented on scale across the entire organization. So what does AI need to work? It needs to understand context. It needs to be deployed strategically. and it also needs to work with everything else that is present within your enterprise. And this is where process intelligence or the Celonis process intelligence platform comes in as the horizontal operational context layer to make enterprise AI work, because it not only has data, it also has a business context. So you can just type in a question saying, how can I improve the on-time delivery rate of my organization, specific to your company? And because it has the data and as well as a business context, Celonis is able to give you an accurate answer which is relevant to your organization and your business problem. So it's the only living digital twin that mirrors operational reality, and it is enriched with end-to-end business context, which it exposes at speeds up to 20 times faster than any other alternative. So that was a quick introduction to our platform. Any questions?
No questions
Okay.
yet.
So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you. Unfortunately, one of our demo setup in the platform is not working. So I'm just going to show you um, what we use for customers. Are you still able to see my screen, right?
No.
Okay. So this is just to give an idea of how the dashboards are actually built and how the process intelligence graph looks like. So it all starts with so this is just something that they have built where it shows a depiction of the process intelligence graph. So at the bottom, you see all the different source systems, which is SAP, Oracle, Salesforce, all of these different sources. And the data is extracted from all of this, and you create something called as objects. These are the different objects that you see: sales order, sales quotation, customer, and all of this. And you also have the business context on top of this. So you have the KPIs and benchmarks. Sorry. So it's coming on top here. Yeah, so you have all the KPIs and benchmarks, all of that defined within your it's called as knowledge model within the Celonis. So when you're actually working with the customer, it all starts with the view like this, where you already have a overall picture of how your, so this is an order management control tower. And these are some of the key KPIs that they're measuring as part of order management, which is customer satisfaction, which has a on-time delivery rate. So you immediately see that it is 62% and it is on a downward trend. So it's not a good sign, right? The industry benchmark is 85% for this. And it's already also showing you what is the potential value saving if you fix this on-time delivery rate. So you can save up to $4.3 million. And then you have the KPIs for operational efficiency, which is perfect order ratio. Then you have the industry benchmark again. Then you're looking at the working capital, where you have days sales outstanding, which is 44 days, again, too long to deliver. Benchmark is 33 days. Potential value saving is 1.7 million dollars. So this is a view that you build within Celonis. And this is your process intelligence graph. So what you will see here is something called as object-centric process mining. This is what our customers are using. But the data set that you have is very simple. You will not have multiple processes like this. It will be just, it is something called as case-centric. where there are not multiple objects. So this is how customer sees it. So he's able to see the end-to-end sales order process here. I'll just give a very small demo. So you can see that it has recreated the order management process. It is saying that there are 135K orders, and these are the different activities that are taking place: create sales order, confirm sales order, create delivery, post good issue, and create invoice. You can also set different, you can choose to see the throughput time here in between. So between two activities, it is taking 24 hours here. Here it's taking 19 days. So looking at all of this, you can see where it is taking a long time and if you can make it more efficient. So there are different parameters that you can set here. So what it shows at first go is the most commonly occurring process sequence, which is the sequence with these 6 steps. Now I want to see what are the additional activities that are taking place as part of this process. So I just click on this plus sign here, which is my activity bar. And I can see that there is a postponed delivery date that is happening for almost 42K orders, right? That's a large number, from 135K to 42K. So I want to now also see, so the demo again I'm giving you is of OCPM, which is what is there in use currently. Now I want to see what is causing this postponed delivery date. So I can choose to see other processes that are taking place in parallel. So this has my inbound delivery activity. This has my purchase order activity, and it also shows where each one of them gets connected. And I can also choose to add activities here. So I can already see here that there is a vendor who is postponing the delivery date. And if I add some more here, I can also see that there is a change price activity that is taking place. So all of this could be contributing to your postponed delivery date, right? So this is how you will need to enable different activities, different processes, and do your investigation. And these are again different views that are built. So this is for late order analysis. Again, there is a KPI on the value, the on-time delivery date, the potential improvement. There are different components that helps you drill down, like your bar, your tables and pie charts and the different graphs that you have. So these are all the different view components that you will also need to build as part of your capstone. I just wanted to give you a glimpse of how it looks like. So moving on now, I will do a quick demo of how to upload your data set. So you will be given 3 files. Okay, first let me, any questions till now before I move on to the project?
No, they just expressed how interesting it looks, and it looks a little complicated.
Okay, so I have given you all a quick, very quick demo. So please do your background work also. Um, so the project that we are going to give you is on sustainability. Please also, when I told you when I started off the presentation, I told you our mission at Celonis is to make processes work for people, for businesses, and also the planet. So our mission statement already talks about our commitment to building a more sustainable Earth. In fact, one of our core values is Earth is our future. So please do look up, I will not be walking you through it, but please do go to our website, look up our sustainability reports, our sustainability solutions that we have built for our customers. All of them are really interesting, and maybe you will get some ideas for your capstone project as well. So we will be giving you with 3 files. Sanchit will be sharing it with you. So there is a trip data. The Capstone project is basically around our travel data set. and basically decarbonizing travel. So you will be given three files as part of the data set. One is the trip data, and one is the trip event attributes. You remember I told you that we need an event log with the case ID and the activity name and the timestamp. And sorry, that's this one. The trip event log has your order, your event name, and the timestamp. And this has all the attributes like which employee has booked the travel, what is the travel request ID, why the expense report was rejected, all of these different parameters. So I will leave it to you to analyze that. And the trip data has again from which trip ID, from which the departure and the arrival country and the city, which mode of transport, how many nights in the hotel, what was the cost, and also the emission information. So if there is a change, Sanchit will explain in the next part. But these are the three different files that are given to you. And let me close this. Yeah, so this is a capstone project that is being given to you with the three files. This is a problem statement. So yeah, the data is fictional and just for educational purposes. It does not reflect Celonis internal travel policy and documentation, nor do the data set contains real employee information. But it is a good representation of how travel looks like within Celonis, because you'll see most of the travel happens from the locations where our offices are based out of. So maybe you can do some research on that also, on where our offices are located. So, like I told you, as Celonis, we believe in doing business that is good for people, companies, and the planet. And with our process intelligence product, we have the unique opportunity to help businesses run more efficiently and sustainably. And together, we can tackle the biggest challenge of our generation by acting today for a more sustainable tomorrow. So, since we began in Munich, we have grown significantly, establishing major centers in New York, in Madrid, in Bangalore, and many more other offices as well. While we are proud of our innovative culture and worldwide reach, this growth brings an increased focus on our carbon footprint and also our sustainability commitments. What those commitments are, again, is something for you to research on. But we also have a road to net zero by 2030. So we have committed to an ambitious goal to lower our carbon emissions to be net zero by 2030. Our internal analysis indicates that a bulk of our scope 3 carbon emissions stems from employee business travel. Okay. So scope 3 emission is basically emissions from activities that are not from assets that are not owned or controlled by us, such as flights, trains, hotels that our employees use for business travel. So currently our booking process is decentralized. So all of us can book independently. Like we don't have to go to a central travel team to book travel. We have an app and we just book our flights and book our hotels. And there is a limit that is already given. Only if it goes beyond the limit while booking, it goes for an additional approval. So while this has historically prioritized cost savings and employee convenience, it's very convenient, right, for us to be able to book the tickets and hotels ourselves. Like we don't have to work with somebody who says, oh, you can't stay in this hotel or you can't stay in this flight. But we now see an opportunity to integrate carbon efficiency into the heart of our travel operations. So we are looking to evolve our processes by integrating carbon metrics. This is not there. None of this is there in place yet. So incorporating emission data directly into the booking and approval workflow, increasing the automation rate for policy checks to ensure that sustainable choices are made consistently, and also to create a clear system of carbon accounting to track, measure, and report on our performance. So using these three files, you will have to create the data model, what I told you. You will have to create the process model, and you'll also have to create the dashboards, similar to what I showed you. If you go to our website, you will also be able to see some demos where you will get an idea of how to build the dashboards. So once you have done that, you have to basically showcase the dollar value behind sustainable travel through quantitative metrics. So identifying cost savings to quick wins that you can do. Maybe something like in Europe, where train is very, very convenient way to travel and maybe faster. So shifting from flights to trains or petrol cars to EVs, or and qualitative metrics like enhancing brand leadership and driving transparency in carbon accounting and also operational efficiency. So you need to focus on carbon leadership and patterns. This document will be shared with you. You can go through it in detail. You will also need to do some kind of regional benchmarking, like how are the travel processes comparing across North America, Europe, and Asia in terms of carbon efficiency. You'll have to figure out what are the low carbon alternatives that we can take within our organization, how to streamline approvals, which business units are contributing the most to the carbon emissions. Again, you can see the distance of travel, the modes of travel available, all of this while you're doing the analysis. And also long term, as we continue to expand globally, what strategies should we implement to offset the natural increase in emissions? Because the more we grow, the more number of people will travel, and it is but natural that we will be contributing to the carbon emission. But what strategy should we implement to offset these emissions with the larger operation? And what are the long-term benefits of carbon-friendly travel, and how will the importance of these victories evolve over the next 5 years? I think I have mentioned it as 3 somewhere, so I'll make it 3 here. So these are the some of problem statement that you need to work with. And at a minimum, your solution must address all of this below 5 questions to satisfy executive stakeholders. So we will be selecting the top 10 teams, and it will be based on whether you have answered all of these 5 questions. You can add more to this, but these 5 must definitely be looked at. So one is the emission profile. What does our current carbon footprint look like? How do processes compare across North America, Europe, and Asia? Is there a particular region or a business unit or a travel purpose with disproportionately high output? What are the inefficiencies that you have identified within our travel process? And what are the actionable recommendations that you will give? And what value will it generate in the next 3 years? So these are the different problem business questions that you need to look at. And then create a presentation. So we'll be sharing a presentation format with you. And you should basically wear a consultant's hat while creating this presentation. You will be given 10 minutes to present, and this will be followed by a 5-minute Q&A. And executives expect a structured narrative as simple as possible with minimum content and the points delivered as crisply as possible without talking too much. So your final pitch must contain a live demo which features your process and the variant explorer. So if you have done our process mining fundamentals course, you will know what these two are. So you will need to add these two. You have to add these two and at least 3 views, okay, which contains at least 5 KPIs. So it can be one table, one pie chart, one KPI list, and 2 other, anything that you can think of. So it needs to have at least 5 data analysis components. So your slides should clearly articulate value. Like you can't just say automate this or implement AI. You should write exactly what steps you need to automate, how much time it can save, and what is the carbon saving you're achieving by automating. So it has to be very clear. So you have to have articulate value, findings, and actionable insights. And you can choose how much time you want to demo, maybe a minute, I would say, just to show what you have done, and then move on to your presentation. So a functional walkthrough of dashboards within the Celonis environment, and also go through the KPIs that you have built. So some of the delivery tips I have given here, you can read it when you go through the document. And your first round, for us to be able to shortlist, sorry, we need one executive summary slide, which is, I'll show it here. So this is your title slide. I will need you to add your name, your institute, your branch and year of study, and your email ID here. And then an executive summary with your headline numbers, basically. So total emissions, top 3 insights, top 3 recommendations. It can be lesser than this also, but not more than 3. And the projected impact. And why decarbonizing travel is critical to Celonis's emission reduction targets for 2030. One simple line on why do you think it is important. So we need this in the executive summary, and we will use this also to shortlist. Then we have the different slides where you can put your um, show what Celonis current carbon footprint looks like, and how is it benchmarked against the tech industry. And you also need to cite your sources, your hotspot analysis, the inefficiencies that you have identified, your recommendations, again very important to have it quantified, and the strategic integration roadmap, basically with a phased plan through 2030. So you can just start with some quick wins that we can do immediately, and along with some long-term plans as well. And whatever views you have built in the Celonis platform, you can have 3 slides just to put snapshots of those. So this is how your final presentation will look like, and all of you will have to follow the same structure just to keep it fair to review across all the participants. So going back to the project again, yeah, so we need this. And just to make us easy for us to review, we would also appreciate it while creating the tabs in Celonis if you can use the same names so that we can also compare it easily. Again, additional tabs are welcome, but these 3 are mandatory. So we also have the evaluation criteria given here. Before that, yeah, while submitting, you also have to. So I'll quickly hand it over to. So when we give you the all the data, entire data set, you will also get this guideline, your Capstone project guideline. You will also get a README file, which is this file, which shows you how to set up the platform. Basically, you'll have to go to signup.celonis.com. You have to register as a student, and your academic platform will be created. Then you have to do the data modeling. So once Sanchit explains part 2 towards the end, I will show you how to do this. And then you have to build your dashboards. So these are the 3 steps that you have to do. And then prepare your final pitch. These are the 3 files that you will get. And yeah, I've also given links to the learning material, so you can go through each one of this. So if any questions until now?
We've answered the questions on the chat.
Okay, all right. So I'll then hand it over to Sanchit to explain the part B.
Okay, thank you, Poornima, for the detailed instruction. Just to summarize whatever has been told so far, I will just share the screen.
Right. So, this is a travel data set which is spread across three CSV files. You've worked with data sets like this. Firstly, I I'm hoping that everyone has finished the week 2 and week 3 components of Introduction to Process Mining and Fundamentals of Process Mining. Those two are very crucial for this project, and that has been communicated with everyone. In case you haven't completed it or have left it incomplete, I suggest everyone uh, address that issue and finish it as soon as possible. Secondly, the problem statement in itself is very clearly explained. That, along with the README file that will be provided, will tell you everything that you need to know about this project. There are also additional learning materials, so that can be used as a source of reference. Please make sure that you keep in mind of the submission checklist. The process and the variant explorer are on the Celonis platforms, and the deliverables are very clearly mentioned here. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. The deliverables are very clearly mentioned, and it requires the answering of these 5 questions. And the template of the presentation has also been given. The first round of submission is 14th of July. I repeat, the first round of submission is 14th of July, and if your submission is accepted and evaluated and you've performed well, you will be moving on to the presentation round. Uh, Moving on to part 2 of the problem statement, I would like Achut to give us a small brief on this as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll start presenting now. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So hello everyone, and so this is the Celonis Green Travel Intelligence Challenge. So as organizations across the globe race towards their net zero commitments, corporate travel remains one of the final and most difficult frontiers. We call it the hard to decarbonize category. Upgrading office electricity or buying an electric fleet is a matter of budget and infrastructure, but travel decisions are deeply human. They are shaped by last minute crisis, personal convenience in company policy and corporate culture. The numbers are staggering actually. According to Global Business Travel Association, air travel alone generates roughly 2 to 3% of all global CO2 emissions. To put that into perspective, we can all feel a single transatlantic business class flight can emit over 2,000 kilograms of CO2 per passenger. That is the equivalent of driving a standard car for 6 straight months. So here is a massive opportunity. We can predict which planned trips will result in a disproportionately high carbon footprint before they are actually booked. We can intervene. We can prompt the user with alternate transport modes, suggest a greener route, or even recommend virtual meeting instant. So the challenge overview, what you need to build. So your focus is on binary classification. Your objective is to predict whether a specific business trip will be classified as a high carbon trip before the booking goes through. You will be using standard machine learning libraries, whether you prefer classic scikit-learn or gradient boosting frameworks like XGBoost, LightGVM, or CatBoost. The choice is yours. At the end of the hackathon, we expect 2 main outputs from your team. Uh, so one is the prediction CSV file containing a probability scores for a hidden test set, and a clear documentation that walks us through the modeling approach, your feature engineering, and your evaluation methodology. We want to understand how you solve the problem, not just to see the final numbers. So yeah. Now, going to the data set. So we have a public trip data.csv. This is, think of this as a primary training sandbox. Every single row represents one business trip. One second. Yeah. Yeah. It includes identifiers like trip ID. You have geographical data, departure and arrival countries and cities. You have logistical details, the shipping type and its description, for example, distribution, economy, flight, and train type. So, hmm, then you have the private trip data. This files contains about 22,000 trips. We are going to use these to score your models. In this, the emissions and the high carbon labels are completely hidden. You must predict the label for these specific trips. So these are for which you need to predict. Now, event logs and attributes. Now, the documentation mentions process event logs and attributes. For those who haven't worked with process data before, this might sound ambiguous. Event log tracks the actual digital footprint of how the trip was booked. When was the request opened? How many approval steps did it go through? Was it modified? You will need to extract features from these logs, like the time taken between requesting and traveling. So, go into the next part. So the target label, you can see high carbon. One indicates a high carbon business trip, and zero indicates a not a high carbon business trip. So to ensure a fair predictive task, you must not use variables that directly reveal the target variables for the labels which are derived from it. For example, the departure CO2, return CO2, hotel CO2, spend CO2, and total CO2, and of course the high carbon itself. You can use the remaining variables, the trip details, the travel modes, the business context, cost, and the process data to engineer your features and train your models. But if you feed these prohibited CO2 columns into your model, it will fail validation. Now, coming to submission. Your target variable high carbon is a binary indicator. So one means a high carbon trip and a zero means it's not. When you submit your CSV, the file must match the sample submission CSV format which we have provided, which requires two columns. One is trip ID and other one is the high carbon, which is a float value representing a predicted probability, measuring a decimal between 0 and 1. Please not submit zeros or ones. You want your model's confidence scores. So how are we scoring this? So our primary metric is ROC AOC, which stands for receiver operating characteristic area under the curve. And the last thing is you should not use external data. You may only use the data sets we have officially provided. Second, there is absolutely no target engineering. Do not attempt to reverse engineer the label thresholds from the alert features. So yeah, that's it from my part, and all the best for hackathon. Happy coding. Sanchit, you know that.
Yeah. Just to summarize, part two is a very simple classification task, very similar to the two hackathons that you have done. The second hackathon primarily, it's very similar to that. The part two of of this capstone project holds 10% of the weightage for the evaluation, and the 90% of weightage is held by part one. Again, I would like to suggest that if you have not completed Introduction to Process Mining and Fundamentals of Process Mining, you might face a challenge. So I suggest you go and complete that before attempting the project. The problem statement is very well put together and it is very detailed. Uh, Even after this, if there is any sort of doubt, I urge you to refer to the learning materials. And if still the doubt is not clear, then you could reach out to the team on Discord. Uh, that is all from our side. The submission for for the capstone project is set as 14th of July. I repeat, it is set at 14th of July, end of day, 11:59 IST. Uh, what's the deadline of the project and what's the preferred stack? The deadline of the project is, again, I'm repeating, it's 14th of July, and the preferred tech stack. So for for task one, you're going to be using the Celonis platform to make the dashboard and to do the data analysis as you have studied in the course in week 2 and week 3. For the task 2, you'll be using Python, so you'll be basically using a notebook to do the evaluation and the classification task. Any more questions? The entire data set and the problem statement will be shared soon, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, if there are no questions, I would like to show a quick demo of how to upload the data set.
Sure.
Okay.
uh, this part is directly applied in the project. So this will be very useful for all our participants here.
Yeah. And if you do process mining fundamentals, again, you will get to see this. But anyway, I'll just quickly show you. So let me share my screen. So once you create your sign up, once you go to signup.celonis.com and create your student account, again, please use your academic email IDs to create this account and register as a student, because otherwise you will not get access to it. You will see that you will come to, you will see a view like this, slightly different because I have been using mine, where you will also see some preloaded data sets. Like you will see some data sets like the pizzeria case, because this is used for students. And this is our process explorer, where you can see each of the activities in sequence, which you can use to analyze. This is a variant explorer. Again, I will not go into detail, but you can see the information in the course. But here it gives a view of all the different variants that are there to the process. And then you have the different dashboards that are built. Now, this is a very simple pizzeria related case study. So if you go to apps, these are all the pre-built apps that are available for our business users to use. Okay. If you open this tab, you will also see something called as data. So this is where all the connections to the data sources, the data extractions, the transformations, if it is OCPM, the creation of objects and events. We have something called as a machine learning workbench, where you can build your own custom applications using Python. That happens here. Task mining is where you capture your desktop activities. So all of this is within the data tab here. And Studio is where you build your applications. Once you go to Studio and build it and you deploy, you will see it in apps. Okay. So to upload the data, you have to go to data integration. I'll just go through all the steps. You have to create a new data pool. So I'll just give it a name. It's quite simple. So what it shows here is basically a graphical view of each of the steps that we need to do to create the data model. So the first step that we have to do is connect to the data source. And there are various options here. So Celonis also comes with almost 100 plus pre-connectors that are already built to connect to systems like SAP, ServiceNow, Salesforce, many others, where it already knows the table structure, it can extract the data, and all you have to do is create the data model, the extraction happens. And this is for that, using pre-built extractors. But we need to upload files. So we'll select upload files. So you select files here, upload from my computer. So this is a area data set which has 3 files. One of which is an event log, one has a customer information, and one has the order information. So once you do this, I recommend that you open this configure data schema here by clicking these 3 dots and make sure that the data type that is assigned is correct. You can't change it later on. So make sure that it is integer or string or date time or whatever you want it to be. Once you confirm that is fine, then you save it. If you want to change something, you can change it here and then save. Okay, I will not change anything now. So you do it for all the files and then you import the files. So once this is done, because we're using files, we don't have to write any transformation scripts or don't have to set up any data jobs or schedules. We are not working with object-centric data, so we don't need to create objects and events. So we straight away click on the last one, which is data model, and select this add data model. Again, I'll give the same name here just to be consistent. So you'll see that all the three files that you imported are coming here. In a real customer situation, there may be thousands of tables or files, right? So you can select them to build a specific data model for a particular use case. But we need all of these files. So I'll just do a select all and go to next. So now you have to read the instructions that Celonis is giving. So it says select the activity table, which is a table which contains the activities of your event log. Now that is present in my pizzeria event file. So I'll just select that. So you will not need to know which file is your event log, and you'll have to select that one accordingly, your event log file. So now it is saying select your case ID column, which is a unique identifier for your order. So here it is under case key. So I'll select it. You have to click on that. Second, it is saying select activity column, which is under my activity underscore en column. So I'll click on activity name there. Then it says select timestamp, which is here under event time. So I select that and select sorting. So sorting is if there are two activities that are happening at the same time, I can tell in which sequence to pick it up. So I'll just select it. It's an optional parameter. And then I click on finish. Now, what are we doing? We are basically telling Celonis, which is my event log file. And I am now also linking all of the three files through the foreign key. Okay, so I'll just randomly select event file and I'll select my second file here, which is case. Now, Celonis for case-centric follows a 1 to n relationship. So the files or the tables that you select needs to have a 1 to n relationship. So this is not correct because one case or one order can have multiple events. So case should be under 1. So I'll just swap the tables here. And then I just select the common key or the foreign key, which is present in both the files, which is case key in this case, and I save it. Now I have to also connect my third file. So customer and case. So the customer ID is a common key here. So I'll connect both and I will save it. So all three are now connected. So I've established the relationship across all of the files or the tables. Now I go here to date, ignore this missing identifier message. If I go to data load, I just said load data model. So it's creating, yeah. So it will create the process model now. Okay, so it has loaded the data model. So we are done with this step. Next, we go to the studio. We have to create a space first. Space is nothing but a container for all the apps that you're building. Like you can combine apps for a specific use case under a space. You also can need to select the data model that you created, which is this one, SA 2026. So I'll create. So that's the main container. Package is the app that you're building. So create package. Now this is called a view. And all I have to do to have the process explorer is here on the right side, you'll see all the various design components that are available for you to build your dashboards. So you can see KPI list, KPI card, I would recommend that you go to docs.celonis.com or also do process mining fundamentals to get more information about each of these component before you use. There are like different types of time series charts, advanced charts, your world map, filter drop down, a lot of them here. So for Process Explorer, all I have to do is just drag and drop it. And that's it. It comes automatically. You don't have to do anything to create your process intelligence graph or the Process Explorer. Now, to create a new view, you have to just click on this. And where's my Variant Explorer is here. 2 very simple steps. So please don't skip this. This is part of your selection criteria. And to create another new view, you can rename it here. Please name all of them properly. All of these are simple things, small things, which we will evaluate very critically, because that is how it works when we are presenting to our customers. Every small detail matters. So if I have to create a KPI list, similar to what we saw earlier, I just drag and drop the KPI list. Now, if I select that, you can see here on the right side, it says add data. So I just click on it. It goes to something called as a PQL editor or process language query editor. You can do basic stuff without knowing how to write PQL. It is very similar to SQL. I have in the README file, I have shared the link to Rising Star Technical that has a component on PQL editor. If you want, you can also go through that if you want to write complicated PQL queries. So I just want to have a total number of orders that I received. So this space here on the left side has all the table information that you imported. All the columns are here. So you can see all of them here. Okay. So you just need to identify which column value you need to use. So for number of orders, I will just go by case key because that is unique for each order. And you can see that there are some standard aggregations already available here. So even if I don't know how to write PQL, I can just come and do count case key. It gives me the number here in the preview, and I'll just name it here so that I know what the value is. And there it is. So it's quite simple and easy to use. If I want to add number of customers, again, I'll go to customer ID, but I will do account distinct now to have the distinct customer number. And again, I'll name it here. So very simple to use. And if I have to use a table, again, I come here, I drag and drop this. Now I want to see I will add just one column just to keep it simple. So I drag and drop this. Again, it's the same principle for everything. So you will see here on the right side, it will ask you to add the columns first. So add data. So I want to see number of orders. Again, let's use the same one. And the revenue, let's say. The next one, I see that there is a value column here which has the revenue. So I'll just do a sum of revenue. And I will write this as revenue, and I'll put some currency value. Now I want to see this per weekday, like how many orders and revenue I'm making per weekday. And I also want to see it by my distribution channel. So now you'll see that there is a breakdown by here. So just click there and do add more columns and add a weekday. I don't have to aggregate it. So I just add that column name. And I will also add my distribution channel the same way. So if I exit the edit mode here, you can see the small arrow button on the top. Now I can see per distribution channel what is the number of orders, the revenue, and I can also change it here by weekday and all of that. I can also set filters uh, if I want to drill down and see. And the information on top will keep changing as per the filter that you have set. So this is how you basically drill down and analyze your information. Every component has a filter available. So please try it out and again go through our course. It's not too long. You'll be able to learn very quickly, and once you get a hang of couple of components, everything else is pretty much the same. And some of them you can even change the way they look. Here for the table, it is showing me alternate display options here. So if I click this, it has changed how it looks like. So there are a lot of design elements available. So please explore and try to come up with your analysis using these components. Again, please keep it very simple, very clear, very neat. We are not going to evaluate you on the complexity of the component that you have used, but rather the analysis and the recommendations that you have come up with. So don't try to overcomplicate it. So I just wanted to show a quick demo on how to use our platform. It
Right.
is quite simple to use, as you can see.
Mhm. Right. Thank you, Poornima. I think the last part, I think all the participants are urged, if you did not understand the demonstration now, maybe have a look and come back to this video. I feel the process and the Variant Explorer are very nicely explained through the demo, and how you can sort of make the KPI keys, KPI cards. That is also very nicely explained. So you can come back to this video and have a look if you have any doubts. Additionally, we'll be sharing all the resources soon, and along with that, there will also be a frequently asked questions file in the resources only. So if you have any questions, may just look at the FAQ section once, and if your question is answered there, that's great. Um, uh, think no more questions in the chat box as of now. I would like to thank Poornima firstly. This was a really detailed explanation. I don't think we've left anything in the entire problem statement. Just to summarize it, there are two parts to this capstone project, part one and part two. All of the details are very nicely mentioned in the resources, and I would urge everyone to have a look. The deadline for the project submission is 14th of July, end of day. Right. Yeah, no more questions coming in.
Okay, then thank you, Sanchit,
Right.
Achyut, and the entire team.
Thank
And
you.
good luck to all the participants. Really looking forward to receiving your presentations and going through them. Uh, Thank you so much, and hope you'll enjoy working on the project.
Thank you. Thank you, Purnima.
Bye.
Bye.